In today's story, we hear from a 23-year-old who has built a stable financial life through hard work and discipline. Despite their own success and security, they're facing a moral and emotional dilemma as their parents, who have a history of financial mismanagement, come to them for help. This story dives into the tough decision of whether to support loved ones at the risk of jeopardizing one's own stability.
I'm 23, financially stable, and I refuse to help my parents who are drowning in debt because of their bad decisions. I'm 23, and I'm finally in a good place financially. I worked hard through college, juggling multiple part-time jobs and internships to land a well-paying job straight out of school. I've been smart with my money, saving, investing, and avoiding debt. I've even started building a solid emergency fund and contributing to my retirement. It feels good to have my financial future on track, especially since I didn't grow up with much. But here's the thing, my parents are a financial disaster. They've always lived beyond their means, racking up credit card debt, taking out loans they couldn't afford, and making bad investments. They've declared bankruptcy twice, and every time they get a fresh start, they go right back to their old habits. It's like they never learn. Now they're drowning in debt again, and they've come to me for help. They want me to co-sign on a loan to consolidate their debts and ask for money to cover their mortgage and car payments. The guilt trips are relentless. We raised you, we sacrificed for you, and now it's your turn to help us. They've even played the "you owe us for all we did for you" card. But the truth is, I can't do it. I refuse to bail them out of their bad decisions. It sounds cold, but I'm tired of being their financial safety net. I've seen what happens when you enable their behavior. They never change, and I'm not willing to put my hard-earned stability at risk for them. I've told them I'm not co-signing anything and that I won't be giving them money. They're furious, calling me ungrateful, selfish, and heartless. I feel guilty because they are my parents, and I do love them. But I also know that helping them would just be throwing good money after bad. They need to take responsibility for their own mess and learn to live within their means. I'm done sacrificing my peace and security for their poor choices. I know people might judge me for this, and I've already lost some extended family support who think I'm abandoning my parents. But I have to protect myself and my future.
Imagine the shock of finding out that your ex has been secretly invading your personal space long after your relationship has ended. This story reveals how a routine check on a shared business account led to the startling discovery that an ex-partner had been using a spare key to enter the apartment and read private journal entries over the years. The breach of trust and invasion of privacy are at the heart of this emotional narrative. Just found evidence that my ex has been breaking into my apartment to read my journal for years. I think I'm in shock. For context, we have been broken up since 2020. We had a business together at the time and decided to keep working together. It was a little rocky at first. We got back together once briefly, but it didn't take, so we became friends and everything has been pretty smooth for a few years. My ex, a 30-year-old man, has a spare key to my apartment in case of emergencies and to occasionally pet sit for me, a 30-year-old woman. Today, I logged into our business Gmail and discovered he has been accidentally backing up his iPhone camera roll to our shared account. One of the first photos I noticed was a picture of my journal. I found out that he has been breaking into my apartment for years, reading my journal entries and taking pictures of some of them to keep. Some of the photos were from the journal I kept while we were still dating, but more recent ones were negative entries I made about two of my exes, which coincide with times he tried to get back together with me. The most recent photo was an entry where I described how I was falling in love with my current boyfriend, and the date lines up perfectly with a very upsetting emotional tirade he went on a month ago where he announced he was no longer in love with me anymore. There were a lot of other things on there, like hard evidence of his hookups that confirm he was cheating on me at various stages of our relationship. I'm honestly not surprised by that stuff, but I did panic a bit about the journal entries because he was in my apartment when I wasn't home and he's been doing this for years. How can someone do that? What else is he doing when he's here? I haven't told him I know all of this yet. I'm trying to process my feelings about it all. For the record, even though a part of me is scared, I don't think he would ever hurt me. But then again, I didn't expect him to be capable of such a blatant violation of my privacy and trust.
In this story, a 24-year-old reflects on an unexpected romantic and emotional connection with a 52-year-old family friend.
What began as a casual arrangement has evolved into something more profound, leaving the young man questioning his feelings and future preferences. This story explores the complexities of relationships across age gaps and the impact of unexpected romantic developments. I'm sleeping with a 52-year-old woman, and I'm starting to prefer being with her. I, a 24-year-old male, have been sleeping with a family friend's sister for almost 5 months now. We met at a Christmas party. She was a bit drunk, and my mom asked me to drive her home and accompany her until she fell asleep or sobered up, as she is a widow and lives alone. She is in incredible shape and still gorgeous. One thing led to another, and we hooked up. The next morning we agreed on not mentioning it to anyone and not meeting in public. But also, we talked a lot. In the end, I asked to come over again, as currently I don't have a partner and was worried about my experience. She agreed, as she was, in her words, lonely. This arrangement has been going on for 5 months now. I'd come over every Friday, we would talk about our week, eat dinner, then talk about what we were going to do that night, then hook up for like 4 hours. So far, we tried and did almost everything known to man. We agreed on putting a stop to it when I get feelings for someone. Today I realized I lost interest in women except for her. I don't even find them attractive anymore. Just her. I find her soothing and peaceful, and most importantly, understanding. It's so much more effortless to click with her. Should I break things up with her? What if I don't like girls my age anymore?
Today's story deals with the fallout from a best man's failed attempt to plan a bachelor party. Despite initial enthusiasm, poor communication and a lack of organization led to last-minute chaos, prompting the groom and his friends to take over the planning. The best man's reaction to being sidelined and the subsequent strain on family relationships are central to this story of wedding-related stress and expectations. The best man dropped the ball planning a bachelor party and is very upset the groom and friends took over. The best man is my fiance's older brother. He came to me about 2 months ago to ask for ideas for a bachelor party because he was completely baffled about what to do other than a strip club. And I gave him some alternatives. He thought the first idea I gave him was great and ran with it. First, he was planning the party for the night of the wedding. We caught that mistake about 6 weeks out and bumped it to the week before. Next, he didn't contact any of the other friends who would be joining. When I and another close friend asked him for information to help get the word out, he ghosted us. Both of us reached out multiple times to offer help through this process.
Fiancé was instructed to let his friends know something was being planned, but without a set date, time, location, price, or event to commit to, it wasn't guaranteed who would be able to come. Finally, 1 month before the wedding, we all ask him what's going on and what the plan is. With no other communication, he sends a link to buy tickets for a show, which would come out to around $150 per person for 8 people, or $100 if the best man expected nobody to eat dinner that night. I ask if he has already reserved the table or if he expects everyone to buy a seat for themselves and hope they all get seated together. Ghosted again.
So we confront him in person where he can't ignore us. And as I suspected, no actual reservations or purchasing have happened for this. He wanted to still make this plan work, but with 3 weeks' notice, $150 per person is not reasonable. Especially since the best man can't actually afford anything on his own. Fiancé has paid for everything for him. His suit, his outfit for the rehearsal dinner, shoes, barber, everything. Fiancé would be paying for himself and his brother to attend. At this, the three of us, myself, fiancé, and his other friend, intervene and say that we are going with something less expensive and more accessible for everyone to attend last minute.
The best man was blindsided and is now extremely offended that we took this away from him, that he had a whole evening planned that he was so excited about, but all of that was time wasted. Rather than be apologetic, he is doubling down on the personal offense this is to him. I'm having trouble sympathizing when it seems he only had concepts of a plan that he was refusing to share the whole time or accept help with. If we didn't take over control, there was a chance only a fraction of the people my fiancé wanted there would be able to attend, which is the most important part of this. How would you deal with this?